Hello. I want us to think about measures and how we use measures. And first of all, I want to think about measures in terms of timing. Our measures can be historical. We can be looking at archives of data over a great period of time. I'm going to take an example from another industry, and that's healthcare. We might be looking at mortality rates in a cystic fibrosis treatment center and comparing those with mortality rates nationwide or with maybe a benchmark facility. Now, obviously, if you're looking at the rate at which people have died, you're not really helping the people who have died, but the idea is that you learn something from these benchmark facilities, hospitals, and that you improve against them, and you know when you need to improve. The second type of measure is also from healthcare, and it's a radically different measure. There's a measure called the APGAR score. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's a measure, APGAR is A-P-G-A-R, Alpha Papa Golf Alpha Romeo, and it's a measure taken newborns at 1 minute and 5 minutes after birth, and it measures a variety of aspects. It measures their reflexes and their breathing rate and so on. And the measure itself drives a process which tends to help save lives of newborns, and especially triggers an effort to resuscitate. One of the aspects they look at is just the color. Is the child pink? They get a 2 if they're pink all over. If they're blue in the extremities, maybe fingertips or something like that, they'd get a 1. And then if the baby is pale or blue all over, would get a 0 score and would trigger a resuscitation. So there is a measure which actually in the moment drives improvement, not historically, but in the moment. We would like to have measures like that. So think about this. What measures do you have in your supply chain? Which ones are really useful? Which ones are not? Now there's another category measure, a measure that would actually be harmful. And when you read the book, The Goal, you learn about some traditional measures that are in fact harmful measures. Our goals, our measures should be driving improvement, and they should not be causing harmful behavior, or at least as little harmful behavior as possible. So, some things to think about measures. Now, think about measures in your supply chain. Let me give you an example, a personal example of a measure that potentially could have driven bad behavior. I worked for a company that made bathtubs, and we had a lot of packaging. We shipped wall surrounds and bathtubs all over the country from this one plant. And the bathtubs, so we had a lot of corrugated packaging. I arranged for a company to bring in a tractor trailer or leave a trailer at a nearby dock. And so we were taking our scrap corrugated and putting it on the trailer and trying to figure out a way that to encourage the folks to save the corrugated and put it on the trailer rather than put it in the garbage and send it out to the landfill. So I came up with this brilliant idea. We had 4 shifts, A, B, C, D shifts, and decided to have a competition between the shifts and have some sort of prize or award to the company that recycled the most corrugated. And I discussed that brilliant idea with the plant manager and the production manager, and he immediately said, "No, you won't." And I thought, well, this is a great idea. Why would we not want to do that? And he said, "Kimball," he says, "if you reward people for putting corrugated in a trailer, they will put corrugated in the trailer." and then it hit me. Well, that was absolutely true. And all of a sudden we'd be putting corrugated straight from the warehouse into the trailer, or maybe running over it with the fork truck to make sure that it looked like scrap before we put it in the trailer. But we would be encouraging people to damage or destroy corrugated when we did that. And so, of course, we did not do that. What we did do is just simply make it easier to put it in the trailer than we did to put it out in the dumpster. It didn't completely solve the problem, because by going to the dumpster, a person could really get sort of a break. In really nice weather, we probably had more going out to the dumpster. But at least in rainy weather and most of the time, we had it going to the trailer and accomplished our purpose. So always be on the lookout, and you may have to talk to some of the older, grayer heads at your plant, but always be on the lookout for how can a measure drive bad behavior.